So today we're going to talk about basic exponent properties. You're going to take a moment and pause. Make sure that you copy in the upper right hand corner of your paper Exponential Functions Unit 4A Homework 1 with the appropriate date, the title, Basic Exponent Properties, and then set up on the right hand side for questions or comments as you go along. These will be things that you want to address when you come to class next about what we're talking about during this lesson. Go ahead and pause and copy. So when we talk about an iceberg, it's a large piece of freshwater ice that is broken off from a glacier or ice shelf and is floating in open seawater. Icebergs are usually classified by their size, and the smallest iceberg is called a growler. Now, growlers get their name because they sound like a growling animal as they melt. So we're going to talk about a specific type of growler that was found floating in the ocean just off the shore of Greenland. Its volume above the water was approximately 27 cubic meters. Now, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to tell me if two icebergs float near this growler, one iceberg's volume is 3 to the 4th times greater than the growler. The second iceberg's volume is 2 to the 8th times greater than the growler. You should be able to tell me which iceberg has the larger volume. Now, you don't have to copy anything on this page. This is just basically information. If you'd like to print this page off online, reminder that the base outline for each notes is located on our website. So we're going to start with this expression. 5 to the 3rd is known as a power. So there's two basic parts to this. 5 is what's known as our base. And 3 is going to be known as the exponent, or you could call it a power. So we're going to talk about the first property, and it's called product of powers property, when dealing with powers. So keep in mind what you know of exponents already. 2 to the 2 power is basically 2 times 2. 2 to the 4th power is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. The power tells you how many times you're multiplying the base by itself. So when I multiply these two things together, it ends up giving me 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which can be rewritten as 2 to the 6th power. Once again, we'll see the same lineup with 5 to the 3rd and 5 to the 2nd power. We break it down into 3 5s being multiplied and 2 5s being multiplied. And that gives me a total of 5 5s being multiplied by each other, so I can simplify this. Once again, we have our x's doing the same thing. We have 4 x's being multiplied by each other and 7 x's being multiplied by each other. We can simplify this into 11 x's being multiplied to each other, so x to the 11th power. And then we have 6 a's and 2 a's for a total of 8 a's, which simplifies to a to the 8th power. So when we talk about this property, there's an easier way to do this. So anytime you have two powers being multiplied, they have the same base, which is a in this instance, we could take their exponents and add them. So 2 plus 4 is 6, 3 plus 2 is 5, 4 plus 7 is 11, 6 plus 2 is 8. And this is only true, once again, if the bases are exactly the same. So, once again, when you multiply two powers that have the same base, you can add your exponents. So let's take a look at this. Once again, we have two things going on. We have coefficients of 2 and 5, and then we have powers of x to the 5th and x to the 4th. We can pull it apart. We have 2 times 5, and then we have 5 x's and 4 x's, everything being multiplied, which simplifies to 10 to the x to the 9th. Now, once again, this is expanding your powers. If we want to go ahead and use our shortcut by using the powers property, we could take our coefficients and multiply them. 2 times 5 is 10. And then once again, if the bases are the same, we can add the exponents of 5 and 4. And this simplifies to 10 to the x to the 9th power. So once again, this first rule is called the product of powers property. Take a moment, pause, copy everything on the screen, and make any questions or comments on the right-hand side of your page. So we have one more property I'd like to talk about today. This is the quotient of powers property. And so once again, we did product, which was multiplication. Quotient means division. So we have 2 to the 5th and 2 to the 2nd power. And we want to go ahead and expand those. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 for the 2 to the 5th and 2 times 2 for 2 to the 2nd. Now, once again, with division, we know that these 2's can cancel each other out. Because when you do 2 divided by 2, you get 1. So 2 up top will cancel out 2 at the bottom, leaving a 1 at the bottom. And we're left with 3 2's up top. So this would simplify to 2 to the 3 power over 1, or just 2 to the 3rd power. Let's do the same thing with our second one. We expand our 5's in the numerator and denominator, and then cancel out as many of the 5's as we can as they line up. And that's only going to leave me with 2 5's. Once again, if everything cancels in the denominator, you're left with just 1 in the denominator. And that would leave me with 5 squared over 1, or just 5 squared. Now once again, this only works if your bases are the same. So let's take a look at expanding the third one. So once again, we've expanded our x to the 7th in the numerator and x to the 3rd in the denominator. Let's cancel out like terms. We can cancel out 3 of the x's, and that leaves me with 4 x's in the numerator. And so I would get x to the 4th over 1, or just x to the 4th. Now we have a to the 3rd and a to the 1 expanded. I have 1a in the numerator and denominator that will cancel, leaving me with 2 a's. And that would give me a squared over 1, or just a squared. So when I look at this, once again, I'm looking for a rule that will help make this simpler. So once again, I'm canceling out, and usually canceling out means subtraction. So whenever I'm dividing where my bases are the same, I'm going to take my exponents and subtract my exponents. So 5 subtract 2 gives me 3. 8 subtract 6 gives me 2. 7 subtract 3 gives me 4. And 3 subtract 1 gives me 2. So let's go ahead and try this out. Once again, I'll do expanded form first so you can see it, and then we'll apply the rule. So when I expand my numerator and denominator, once again, I'm looking to cross out things that I have in common with the numerator and the denominator. And I can cross out 2 y's in the numerator and denominator and 1 x. Once again, that cancels everything in the denominator, leaving me with just 1. And I'm left with 2 x to the 4th, y to the square left. That's it. How would this look if I used my rule, my quotient of powers property? I would go ahead and I just have one number, 2. I'm going to do 5 subtract 1. Remember, if you do not see an exponent, that exponent is believed to be 1. So 5 subtract 1, and then 4 subtract 2. I simplify. 2, x 5 subtract 1 power, y 4 subtract 2 power. And that gives me 2x to the 4th, y squared. So now you've got product of powers property and quotient of powers property. You have 2 properties that I want you to be able to apply when you come to class next. Go ahead and pause, take a moment, and copy before moving on to the last piece. So here I'd like you to try out, referring back to your notes. For 1, 2, and 3, I'd like you to simplify each expression using the product of powers property and the quotient of powers property. Please keep referring back to your notes. Any problems you have, this is where you want to make notes and say, I don't understand this part, or I'm not quite sure what to do with this part. For your next piece, I'd like you to go ahead and read carefully and solve 4 and 5. Once again, you'll be using the quotient of powers property and the product of powers property to help you out with this. You should not come to class without any of these done. You should try something and be able to refer back to the examples we've done in the notes. I will go ahead and provide the answers so you can check your answers and make sure that you have any questions that you come to class with. If you want to go ahead and pause, copy, and try these out before going on to the last slide and looking at the answers. So here are the answers that you should have gotten by trying this. Once again, do not come to class with only answers. You should be able to show me the work using the both rules or both properties to be able to get those answers. See you in class.